It seems like the world just can't get enough of Harry Styles. The pop culture icon who started his journey with One Direction is a global phenomenon in his own right. He's one bankable star. His foray into films has been successful too. His tiny cameo in The Eternals earned him a pretty hefty paycheck. Let's take a look at how he did it, and then what were some of the most expensive cameos in Hollywood. First up, Styles made nearly $400,000 for a 1-minute appearance. The As It Was singer made a surprise appearance in Marvel's Eternals in 2021 and just happened to make a small fortune in salary for the Marvel film. We'll have you know that this is despite the fact that he was in the movie's end credit scene for less than a minute. The English singer is worth about $90 million currently. This is after his career with One Direction, 3 solo studio albums, and 3 movie roles in Dunkirk, Don't Worry Darling, and My Policeman. Not to mention the minute-long cameo for Eternals. It is reported that Styles made about $380,000 for the job. But he is pretty hot property right now, and that might not actually be such a big price for the kind of star power he brings to the show. But for perspective, Gemma Chan, who is one of the main characters and appears in almost the entire 2-hour and 37-minute long movie, was only paid a reported $350,000 only. Up next, are we going to see him in more Marvel productions? In the Marvel end credits cameo, we saw Styles as Eros, or Star Fox as he is also known. His character was originally named Aaron, but he was renamed Eros, given his interest in the opposite. Oh, also, he's the brother of Thanos. Now, all of these details add up to one fantastic character to look forward to, and we're pretty sure that he's about to join the MCU. There's been some solid speculation that he will sign a 15-year contract with Marvel that will include only 5 movies. For Harry and his team, it was important that the project and feel of the movie were just right for him. Apparently, there were plenty of secret phone calls and long discussions before the deal was struck. We can totally see him as the fun-loving, flirty, and charming Eros. Right? With every movie that he does for Marvel, he will get paid progressively more than the last one. At this rate, he stands to make more than $100 million for his 15-year role as Star Fox. But Styles did also say at the time he would like to focus on his music, and he'll probably think of acting a little better. Frankly, all we have about his future in the MCU is mere speculation. MCU head honcho Kevin Feige did tease that we'll definitely see more of Styles in the upcoming Marvel movies. Styles is yet to be confirmed in any cast list for upcoming MCU productions, so it's not clear when Eros and Pip will next make an appearance. Coming up, let's take a quick look at Harry's acting timeline. After British boy band One Direction went on a break in 2015, the hugely popular set of boys tried their hands at a few things. Styles tried his hand at acting. He got a spot on Christopher Nolan's 2017 war drama Dunkirk. He played Alex, one of the soldiers trapped on the beaches of Dunkirk as Germany advanced into France during the Second World War. The singer received rave reviews for his performance, even though his role wasn't a big one, but it also told him just how much he loved acting, which is also what led to him landing his first big role in 2020 for Don't Worry Darling, which released in 2022. He replaced Shia LaBeouf in this psychological thriller set in a 1950s utopia. Styles had the lead role opposite Florence Pugh. The movie also featured Chris Pine and Gemma Chan and was directed by Olivia Wilde. Harry and Olivia were dating at the time, but have since broken up. He had another movie released in 2022. The romantic drama called My Policeman was based on a book of the same name by Bethan Roberts. It was directed by Michael Grandage and starred Emma Corrin and David Dawson. The movie premiered at the Toronto Film Festival and is currently streaming on Amazon Prime. Honestly, the movie had lukewarm reviews and wasn't really a memorable project for Styles either. But coming back to cameos, let's look at some of the most expensive ones ever. First up, Hugh Jackman made a killing with this cameo. Remember that time in X-Men First Class when Charles Xavier and Eric Lensher find Wolverine at a bar and he flips them off and they walk right out? Well, that cameo by Hugh Jackman lasted only for 20 seconds, but it came at a price for the movie's producers. And it wasn't a cash payment for the Australian star. That's right, he chose not to get paid for this cameo, but he did benefit in other ways. He asked for a charitable donation to be made to his kid's school, and Fox kindly obliged. But there was one other thing he asked for. He demanded that he be the only one to cuss at the main characters in the movie. So while James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender can barely get a word out, Jackman tells them to go yourself. This probably makes him the only person to contribute to a good cause for cursing on film. Up next, Alec Baldwin made 6 figures for 3 days of work. This was actually one cameo that stood out more than any other character in the movie, and that was Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross. It was so essential to the movie that it was included in the trailer. He plays a salesman named Blake, and to motivate the staff to improve their sales numbers, he insults them, belittles them, and even swears at them. He also announces a contest where the third prize means you're fired from the job. So how much did Baldwin make for this one scene performance? According to the New York Times, he was on set for 3 days and took home a cool $250 grand. Now that's a sale. Coming up, Charlie Sheen made the same for just a day of work. Comedy star Sheen starred in 3 installments of the Scary Movie parody film franchise. In Scary Movie 3, he had the lead role as Tom Logan. He returned to the same character but in a smaller role for the next installment, but in the 5th movie he played himself, which was sort of confusing. At the start of the film, Sheen and fellow tabloid magnate Lindsay Lohan team up to make a ridiculous celebrity tape. The project ends when a ghost possesses Lohan and violently kills Sheen. Apparently, Sheen earned $250,000 for his 1 day of work on Scary Movie 5, and most of that was mostly just lying in bed. But then he paid it forward. He ended up donating $150,000 of it to charities selected by the film's creative team, and the remaining $100,000 he gave to Lohan to help her pay part of her tax debt. Meanwhile, Sean Connery did the right thing with his paycheck. At the end of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, when Kevin Costner's Robin Hood is getting married to the love of his life, Lady Marian, played by Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. There's a surprise guest at the wedding. Who else but King Richard, played by none other than Sir Sean Connery, who gives the couple his blessings and gives thanks to the bandit for his bravery. Did you know that Connery wasn't even credited in the movie? But he was paid for it. Some reports suggest that he was paid a whopping $500,000 for that appearance, but his biographer said that he only made $250,000 for delivering about 4 lines. Whatever the amount may have been, the important part is that the Scottish actor donated the entire amount to charity. Not to mention, Mark Hamill made a cool $1 million for this one. The way the 9-movie Star Wars saga is structured, it really requires a bit of a balancing act by the creative team. Somehow, they have to invoke the nostalgia of the original trilogy, but also introduce new characters and storylines, and that can be an expensive endeavor. Mark Hamill actually enjoyed a lot of screen time in The Last Jedi as Luke Skywalker, where he was training warrior-to-be Rey, played by Daisy Ridley. He then also appeared in The Force Awakens briefly at the tail end of the film. In the final few seconds, Rey finds him on an island cliff and gives him a lightsaber, and that's it. Hamill doesn't speak a single word. So how much did he earn for this non-talking appearance? According to Variety, Hamill was paid what they called in the low 7-figure range for his minuscule appearance. That makes it at least $1 million. It's also about 10 times what Ridley and John Boyega earned for the movie. Lastly, Marlon Brando raised the bar for cameos unlike anyone else. Now this one is really a masterclass in how to make the most out of your star power, and it comes from none other than the Godfather himself. The makers of Superman the movie wanted Brando in the role of Jor-El so badly that they met all his crazy, over-the-top demands for a role so small that it actually amounts to just a cameo. Brando appears as the wise and mindful Jor-El for only 10 minutes out of the film's total runtime of 143 minutes. But he got top billing, even over and above lead actor Christopher Reeve, who played Superman, and Gene Hackman, who played Lex Luthor. Brando received a cool $3.7 million up front for his small role, but then he was able to negotiate a part of the movie's profits once it became the huge hit that it did. The eventual size of his paycheck for a 10-minute role proved to be a staggering $19 million. Now that's just nuts. But hey, that's what you call star power. We guess that he made them an offer they couldn't refuse. That's a wrap for this video. Are you looking forward to seeing Harry Styles in more Marvel movies? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.